The first thing we're going to talk about today is called a key and how that works in the context of music. So if you have your pianos, I want you to get those now. I want you to get those ready, whether it's a digital keyboard or whether it's an acoustic piano. I want you to bring your iPad or your computer, your phone over to where that acoustic piano is and get ready because we're about to get into some piano stuff. So as you're looking at a piano, if you have a real size, full-size piano, that's 88 keys, and the keys are separated between white and black keys. Now, if you have a full-size keyboard, then it's going to look a certain way. If you have a half-size or medium-size keyboard as far as 61 keys or 73 keys, it's all going to look a little bit different, but the same notes are involved. And so I'm going to be talking out of an 88-key keyboard, so just kind of use that as the filter. So as you look at a keyboard, as you look at the 88-key keyboard, you're going to find that the black keys have a pattern besides that far one to the very left. There's one all by its own lonesome, but everything else falls into a pattern that goes 2 black keys, then 3 black keys, then 2, then 3. And so that's going to really help you understand where the notes are on the piano and help you remember where they are. It kind of gives you a layout, a format of what the notes on the piano are. Now, the second thing I want to tell you that kind of helps you understand the layout is the musical alphabet. Now, there's an English alphabet, obviously, A through G, that's 26 letters. That's a lot of letters. There's only 7 letters in the musical alphabet, and it's real simple. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And if you know those, you know every single letter on the piano of the white keys. So if you start at the far left of the piano, you start with A, the next note would be B, and after that C, keep going D, E, F, G. After you get to G, you start all over with A, and then you go all the way up on the piano. So you could literally find every note that way if you wanted to. But another way you can find notes a little quicker is just remembering that D, the note D, the letter D, is in between the very middle of the 2 sets of black keys. Okay, so if you want to remember this kind of helpful little slogan, D is in the doghouse. The 2 black keys are the walls of the doghouse. Can't tell you how many kids I've taught that to, and it really works. It helps you remember where D is at least. And so if you know where D is, then you kind of know where every note is, right? C is right before D, E's after that, then F, then G. All you got to do is know the alphabet, and you're golden here, okay? So you can find any note you want to. And so that kind of sets the stage for us to talk about then what we're about to. The next thing I want to talk to you about is what a key is. And a key is nothing more than just a group of notes that sounds really good together. And every song is played in a key. For instance, Whom Shall I Fear, the song we're going to learn this week, is played in the key of C major, okay? Good Good Father, another song by Chris Tomlin, is played in the key of A. And they use different notes that sound really good together to form the song. And this particular song, Whom Shall I Fear, is in the key of C. Now, the key of C has one rule, and the one rule is that you can't play any black keys. You can only play white keys. And so what I want to do to show you how this rule works and fits into music is show you how to play the C major scale, which is just a snapshot of the key, what notes are involved, and what notes you can and can't play. But also I want to show you the chords in C major. So you start with your thumb, your right thumb on middle C, because we'll start with our right hand. So you're going to play C with your thumb, and then again you want to lift up so we're not running notes together, and then D with your index finger, and then E. And once you've played E, there's going to be a little change. You want your thumb to come underneath your middle finger and play F. And at that point, the other fingers of your hand relocate to be on their own note. So now your thumb should be on F, your index finger should be on G, and so forth. So then after F, you play G, and then A, and then B, and then C. And that is the C major scale as you've played it up. Now we're going to show how to go backwards. So you start with your pinky on this next C, and now we're going backwards. You'll play your 4th finger on B, and then middle finger, and you play all the way down to your thumb. And once you hit there, there's another change that happens. Your middle finger crosses over your thumb to play E, and then your index finger and your thumb relocate to be on their own note, and then you play D, and then you play C. So I'm going to show that to you one more time without talking, and so you can see it in full speed, still a slow tempo, and then you can pause it or you can try it yourself if you'd like. Now, the left hand, I'm going to show you how it plays the C major scale. It just starts on a different C, and its finger pattern is a little bit different than the right hand, but it's not too complicated. So your pinky is going to start, your left hand pinky is going to start on the 3rd C on the piano. So if you want to start from the very beginning, you got C number 1, C number 2, and C number 3. You want to span your fingers out. And so you'll play C with your pinky, and then D, and remember to try and keep your hands level and curled, your fingers curl as you're playing. Once you get to your thumb, you're gonna do something different. Your middle finger is gonna cross over to play that A, and then you'll play B with your index finger, and then C. And then going back down is the same way you went up, just backwards. Then you play B, and then A, and then your thumb comes underneath to play G, and then F, and all the way down to your pinky that's on C. So again, if you'd like to pause the lesson for a minute and try that out, I would love for you to do that just to get a feel for it. Watch where I'm crossing over so you can make sure to do the same thing and practice that a few times. The last part of the key signature today that I want to talk to you about are called chords, and specifically triads. A triad is a chord that has 3 notes played at the same time. And that might sound complicated. This is really easy, again, because we have the layout for the key of C major. We know it's only white notes. You've already been playing the scale, so you know what notes are involved that we can use. So today I'm going to break it down for you. So each key is broken up into 7 different chords, okay? There are many more chords than that you could possibly play, but they're not basic. And I just want to show you the basic chords today so that we can start moving towards playing songs that have these chords in them. The first chord I want to show you today, we're going to call it the 1 chord. I'm using a system called Nashville numbers, and this is just a way of identifying chords by number. Later in the next lesson, we'll talk about what the actual chord name is, because every chord has 2 names at least. And so, and we'll get more into that. That's just a little bit more specific, and it gets more into music and the theory of music. But today, I just want to get into the chord names as far as the numbers. So the first chord is built off the first note and the 3rd note and the 5th note of the C major scale. So the first note of the C major scale was C, so you can play that note with your thumb. The 3rd note of the C major scale was E, so you'll play that with your middle finger. The 5th note was G, and you'll play that with your pinky. So when you play those at the same time, that sounds pretty good. That's your triad. That's C major. If you were going to call that chord by its name, you would call it C major. So that's your 1 chord, as we're going to call it today, because your thumb is on the 1st note of the C major scale. Now let's move your thumb just down 1 note. And if you noticed where your fingers were, there was 1 note in between each finger when you're playing. So move that thumb on up to D and keep that same position. 1 note in between your thumb and middle finger, and another note in between your middle finger and pinky. So your thumb is on D, middle finger on F, pinky on A. So play those 3 notes at the same time. That's your 2 chord. And if you notice, I don't know if you can tell or not, this chord sounds a little bit more sad. This is called a minor chord, which again, we'll get into on our next lesson, but I want you to kind of try and hear these things so far. That's our 2 chord. Our 3 chord occurs when you just move your thumb up 1 more note, keep your same finger position, you're playing E, G, and B, and try and play those at the same time. Then your 4 chord is just the very next note, same position. Then you have your 5 chord, and your 6 chord, and your 7 chord.